Well, good morning. I just checked the time and it's 7:33 here in our studios. Our studios are located in Sogankope, precisely Alavanyo, Graceland. That's where we are. And this show, if this is your first time, is from the papers. This show is to bring you up to date and up to speed on issues that have been covered within our newspaper front pages in Ghana. My name is Dumevi Kwame Apollo. You are welcome to this one as well. It's been almost a week now since I came live here, right? And today I am happy to be here. But along the way, there has been a number of issues. The most striking one has to do with the striking nurses. So nurses are on strike, midwives are on strike, and babies are crying in the hospitals. Pregnant women and co are being turned off. Doctors are under serious pressure. Government is also crying wolf. Here and there are blames and counter blames on why there is this strike. For whatever it is, the papers have covered them, and we will be bringing them to you objectively, just as we do every now and then. In fact, we do it always. Over here at Afenya Media, objectivity and inclusivity, impartiality are the things we strive for. You might be experiencing some breaks in the images. Maybe you would have a smooth audio, but with some breakages in the image. Do forgive us, we are still working on our machines. But there are other issues to be dealt with today, one of which also has to do with the data packages, where the Minister for Communications, so the Minister for Communications and digital, I don't know, there is a change of name for that government setup, and yes, the Minister Sam Jatta George, good morning. He's done some massive and good work. In fact, he's been one of the ministers I have been calling a social media minister for some time, because I see him mostly on social media blasting people, telling us about his meetings that we don't see any productive work done. But yesterday, he showed us working. Yeah, he showed us working. He showed us that, of course, there must be some meetings, there must be some online and offline jobs here and there, for the job to be done. And to yesterday, he had delivered, expecting July 1 for the good news to start. I'll be bringing you details on that as well. My sponsors are Safred Global Services, and let me just receive this information from them, after which we'll be right back here and start the newspapers for you.
From anywhere in the USA to anywhere in Ghana, we manage the entire shipping process: documentation, packing, shipping, warehousing, and final delivery. We will be with you all throughout. Simply place your order and relax. Your shipment is in safe hands. At Safred Global Services, we guarantee safe and timely delivery of consignments of any size. Trust us with your packages, crates, and containers for utmost satisfaction. Our customers always come first. We at Safred Global Services provide the safest, smoothest, and fastest yet affordable sea freight forwarding assistance between the USA and Ghana. Visit our Ghana warehouse at 127 Blue Street, Enya, off the Awoshi Ablekuma Pokwasi Highway in Accra. In the USA, our office is located at 2013 Fortune Drive, Lawrenceburg, Kentucky 40342. Call us at 502-353-4407 or 614-622-6977. Safred Global Services. Reliable, affordable, timely.
Okay, now welcome back, and yes, so let's go into the papers for you, and I'm starting from the Custodian. The Custodian is the first paper, and of course the issues of the striking nurses is here. The first story I see here says striking nurses warn jumpy government, severe health crisis looms. And of course, nobody would be happy, no government or not even an opposition should be happy that our nurses, our midwives are on strike. In fact, even if it is an hour strike, a lot of issues might have gone wrong. And so this is one of the most serious issues happening in the country right now. And we are praying that government and these striking nurses would be able to sit and negotiate properly. And then now, what is the issue? They are asking for allowances to be paid to them. Now, I don't have problem with anyone asking for allowances due them. Government understood and signed documents, and so whatever it is, I don't have any problem with it. My only problem is the fact that we cannot use human lives as collateral. I am afraid that using human lives as collateral would put us into a tight corner. But I also understand the nurses. When you look at, you see, it's not just about, let's say, allowances, somebody not being paid. Sometimes you compare the other people or people in the other industries, the workforce, the way they go into their work. You look at all the efforts they have to put into their work. You consider people in the other industries who you would have had almost the same qualification or even more qualified in any other way done, and what they are making. You look at what you are doing, compare it with Article 71 office holders. Excuse me to say this, that always we talk about this and we expect that when we tell nurses that they should reduce their demands and expectations, then we should be looking at Article 71 office holders as well. as well. You should be looking at people who have been receiving allowances and all over. Big time allowances, fuel allowances, clothing allowances, security allowances, house help allowances, and all of that. And when you work and put your mind to some of the people who are really enjoying Ghana's money, these are some of the things that happen. Again, government should look at it. Now, I heard the minister, Honorable Akando, actually asking that retired nurses take over, and kind of laughed. Is that the way to go? Asking for retired nurses to be re-engaged, is that the way to go? We still can engage these striking nurses. We can even look at the unemployed nurses, unposted nurses, graduate nurses who are still not yet been posted. We can take a look at them. In fact, this will give them some level of experience going into their career. Anyway, so that is it. Now also, let me bring you this one. It says, Dumsor levy is midnight robbery. Minority declares. Now, what is the Dumsor levy? The government of Ghana is saying that, of course, we have done very well. In fact, look at the reduction in the cost of fuel per liter. Good, very good one. At a certain time, we even bought fuel at 16 Ghana cedis. Some people even bought it at 17 Ghana cedis, dependent on which pump you actually went to. And this is a big issue. Why? Because now it has reduced to some people selling 11 or 12 point something, and let's even take it at 12 point something. Government is saying that, okay, for each liter you buy, you are paying 1 cedi. Now people are actually comparing it with e-levy. Now e-levy is done in percentages. So the higher the transaction, the higher the amount on the transaction, the higher the rate also. In fact, yes, the amount you pay by rate also goes up. That's for the e-levy. This one, you are paying 1 cedi. Now, how many liters would you get from, let's say, 800 Ghana cedis? And how much would you be paying? You are paying per liter, not per purchase. This is another big issue being debated. I believe that, of course, there is no time to do this. We owe a lot. We need to keep the lights on. One of the reasons, for instance, last week, it was difficult coming your way on this show was because the transformer around here just blew. In Alavanyo Sogankopper here, just blew. And yes, there were rumors it's going to take like a month or so to be fixed. In fact, for almost 1 week, the whole area has been off. And this tells you that issues with energy, especially with electricity generation, should not be taken for granted. And so whatever government thinks is the best way, I don't know if this is the best way, but I believe that this is one of the ways government can help. Now, we wouldn't also be waiting to hear different stories where we will start hearing, of course, we took the money. For instance, when it came to the e-levy was more like the panacea to all our problems. At the time, it looked as if it will solve all our problems in this country, and it never happened. Should the same thing happen to the Dumsor levy? Please, I'm just calling it Dumsor levy because that is the most popular name we are giving it now. The Dumsor levy, if it should go the same way, then Ghanaians will surely be disappointed. Of course, politicians must be careful what they say in opposition. Anyway, so that is it over here. Then gold board to boost Mahamad's economic recovery agenda. Sami Jemfi, right on this one, is saying the establishment of the gold board is a very good thing for us because it will be one of the boosts one way to boost the economic recovery agenda. Don't forget that the government of Ghana is on such an agenda to ensure that both our micro and macro economic indicators and all of that becomes solid. And you know where it starts from? It started from the CD being stabilized for some time. In fact, the rapid way it dropped from 16, 15, 14 up to now, whereas at yesterday we had 11 point something Ghana cedis. We are praying it ends at 11. It doesn't go any high up again. Let's manage that one. Anyway, so that is it in the custodian. Let me bring you the daily analyst. The daily analyst also has still the issue of the striking nurses. It says striking nurses and midwives report threats in Volta and OT regions. Anyway, so that is it also. Things are not becoming very easy. Things are not becoming very easy. Now, government appeals to retired nurses to step in as strike continues. I believe that's not the best way. There is a reason these people had to retire at a certain age. Looking scientifically and even socially, once they've retired, bringing them back on board when we have bunch of unemployed nurses, I think we should look at that and then make the necessary corrections. Now, let me bring you more on the issue of the striking nurses. The issue of the striking nurses. Let me bring you this one in the daily graphic. It says government committed to dialogue. That's the minister, Honorable Akando Minta. He says, yes, we are not letting issues just slip. We are ensuring that, of course, we go into onto the table of negotiation and ensure that things are right. We are ready to talk. I have other ones having to do with the nurses. Let me see. Then this one is from the minority. It says, use mid-year budget review to resolve Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association strike. This one is from the minority. And so this is also another thing we should be looking at. We should actually be able to use the mid-year budget to try to convince them. Now, what happened was that the nurses are saying they have not been captured in the budget, and this is serious because there was an agreement and they expected the agreement and its allocation to be captured in the budget, but that never happened. And so there is a chance that when we are doing a mid-year review of the budget, we would be able to put them through it. Also in this paper, the Daily Searchlight, we also have issues with the nurses. It says nurses strike, Kolebu and other hospitals go silent. Pregnant women and babies turned away. Pregnant women and babies turned away. And this is very, very, very serious. This is very, very, very serious. We should look at that. Minority slams government over impasse with striking nurses. And we know that the National Labour Commission has successfully acquired an injunction, and they are supposed to serve the striking nurses. Now they don't know how to strike there to serve them, but luckily the court has allowed them to serve the striking nurses through WhatsApp. Interesting days ahead. Do I still have anything here? In the Ghanaian Times, still on the issue with the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, this one says return to work. Government appeals to striking nurses, but the association says it won't budge. Interesting. The association says it won't listen to anything. What they want the government to do, the government should do. Then also blame government for the strike. That one is in the Informer and is from the Ghana National, the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. They said if anything goes wrong, of course the government should be blamed because they didn't listen very well. Anyway, now let's go back to the daily analyst, because we have other issues in the daily analyst. Then this one says telcos increase data bundle values. Now it is not the amount of money you use that is just we are not talking about. We are talking about the value. Yes, and July 1 we are going to see that. Now Sam George actually intervened and made sure that things are done well in this case. Do we have anything having to do with that? No. We'll go through all the papers to see if there is anything having to do with the telcos and of course our how do you call it, data issue. Because data issues, these are very serious issues. The daily graphic says more data for same price from July 1. So July 1 we are actually starting that. Let's move on again back to the informer. Oforiatta not transparent with OSP lawyer Kpebu. So this is lawyer Martin Kpebu, who believes that Ken Oforiatta, who is on the Interpol wanted list, who is also on the radar of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, is not actually being transparent with the OSP. Oforiatta isn't telling the OSP the whole truth, and it's not helping the situation. That is it from the informer. Now, some Muslim community, so the Muslim community, I don't know how we got to that, but the Muslim community is sending a warning to President Mahama in the informer, or on the informer's front page. It says, reward Alhaji Sinare now. Muslim community warns Mahama. So yesterday I spoke with one of them, and I asked, but do you think everybody should, not everybody can be rewarded with a position, with a portfolio in government, or else we would have more ministries being created, we would have more friends and families, we have more job for the boys, that kind of thing that we spoke against a lot. And then this is what he told me. He said, Alhaji Sinara is not everybody. He rested his case. I also rested my case. I think it is well to note, Alhaji Sinara is not everybody. So when you say not everybody can get a position or a portfolio, Alhaji Sinara is not everybody. I give up. Anyway, now maintain Baumia for 2028, MPP Guru advises party. Anyway, so that is on the issue on the informer. Let's go back to the Ghanaian Times. Pass broadcasting bill to address challenges facing media landscape. Professor Karkari. So this is Professor Kwame Karkari, who is actually asking that. Of course, we're talking of the broadcasting bill. I don't know whatever has happened to that bill, but hopefully that bill will be passed very soon. We are praying that the actors in this bill will put more effort on government, put more effort on parliament, and the bill will be passed. All right, so let me move away also from the Ghanaian Times for you and bring you the Daily Searchlight. We talked about the nurses, we talked about minority. This one says, GJA presses police to find all involved in journalist assault. So you remember, a journalist was assaulted, but by all means, one person had been already arrested. But the Ghana Journalists Association says that that should not be the end of it. Those people should be prosecuted, and their accomplices, all who were involved in it from top down, should all be dealt with. But there is something else on this issue here in the daily analysis. It says, June 4 condemns barbaric attack on Joy News reporter, demands swift justice. And so it's not just a small issue, it is a big issue, and we are hoping that things move well in that regard. Where are we? Yes, and then so let's go back to Okay, we'll come back to this one, but let's go back to the Daily Analyst. GJ applauds government over Galamsey fight, but calls for periodic updates. Of course, there have been a number of changes with regards to the water bodies, how government is dealing with the Galamsey. A lot of engagements, stakeholder engagements went on in secret. But what DJ is saying is that Ghana must know what is happening. We must know what is happening. And so updates would work, even though they say the government is doing its best. What else can I bring you? What else can I bring you? What else can I bring you? Let's go to the National Voice. And the National Voice has internal war erupts in Ashanti NDC over youth employment positions. Oh, interesting. So the district youth employment officers that were to directors and coordinators, right? Coordinators or directors, I don't know, that were to be appointed. In fact, list came out. People are fighting over the positions, especially in the Ashanti region. This is what we've heard. There are other places, not just in the Ashanti region, that there's been secret fights over who becomes the director or coordinator of the YEA in these districts. Very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. Anyway, it's been a long time you've heard of Justice Tokonu, right? The National Voice has this. It says, justice for Gertrude Tokonu must not be silenced. Justice for Gertrude Tokonu must not be silenced. A call to Ghana's first female vice president. I don't know what we want a female vice president to do, but we should have all of these things devoid of politics and sentiments. That is why I blamed the NDC in the beginning, even though, yes, I find reasons for the former CJ, the suspended CJ, to be investigated on a number of things as the prosecution actually came up with. I also believe that once in opposition, you keep talking of sacking her. When you get the power, we would believe that you trying to now investigate her is just a way of you saying, yes, I told you I'll sack her, and I am going to really sack her. That's not a very good one for all of us. So that is it. Remember that we are also live on YouTube. This show is also live on YouTube at the moment. Anyway, let's go on. Let's go back to the Daily Graphic, and it says explore investment opportunities back home. Diaspora Investment Forum speakers. So yes, so there was this beautiful program, and the speakers are asking that individuals in the diaspora, individuals abroad, will do as much as possible to invest in Ghana. I want to bring you a few reactions from X, formerly Twitter, on the issue with the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association's strike, and also on the issue of the data packages, right? So there's been a number of questions, one of which has been posted by Joy 99.7 FM on Twitter, and the question is, do you think the demands of the nurses are reasonable or not? And there's been a number of reactions. Sixth Sense says, you all are suffering from affective disorders. I don't know what that is. He says, a country where we see buying of sanitary pads a priority than caring for the essential workers. Interestingly, then this one says, why is it not reasonable? This one is from Manye. Why it's not reasonable, huh? Even Ampule self go fit cut a nurse in hand when she or he tries to break the bottle, and at that instant you as a nurse have to buy yourself a tetanus injection at that moment. Meanwhile, you were going to just administer a drug to save life. Then Nana Kwame says, well, they think it's reasonable that the government has already signed off on it last year. Then there is also Oben Kofi, who says the government should start working on resetting and restructure the public sector workers' compensation. Too many disparities in there at different levels. This one says they are reasonable, but the law is the law is the law. That is from Kofi Sanface. Kwesi Boeki says the leadership's party, NPP, signed the agreement but failed to implement it and now want to present paper on it in parliament. Government should negotiate and pay in installments and allow their leaders join politics as a party. News Wrap says, not responsible at all. This happens when the true people who are naturally caring wants to be nurses and don't get a job, but rather political party protocols put their party loyalists in these jobs as thank you for voting. And then also Ankobia Royal, he says, if this question was asked on 11th June 2024 or 11th June 2023, it would have been, do you think government is being fair to the striking nurses? Or don't you think the striking nurses deserve better? We saw how you addressed issues in this country and where you stood. Then David Sandel, who will be the last one I'll do, says, in my opinion, they are reasonably responsible. They are reasonably reasonable. They should see how to implement some of them. They are legal demands, accepted and endorsed. And of course, 4 minutes after 8 a.m. and this is where I bring today's show to an end for you. Let me say a very big thank you for joining me today. Please do join me tomorrow. Now, we wish all candidates of this year's BECE a success in their papers. Papers are starting today and we are hoping to join them. We'll be visiting some of the centers around Sogankope and today. The days coming ahead, we'll go to other places to see how they are doing with the papers. My name once again is Dumevi Kwame Apollo, and I'll gladly see you tomorrow on this show. Do have a nice and beautiful day. Goodbye to all of us, and let's have a great one.